The Winnipeg Sea Bears are off to the CEBL Finals. Welcome to Target Score Postgame Live. I'm Joey Slattery. That's Taylor Allen. The OG's getting things kicked off here on the Target Score Winnipeg Postgame Show on the Target Score Network. If you haven't already, like, subscribe. Chat's already lit. People are already here. We are here having a great time after an incredible game. The Vancouver Bandits fall short yet again, and it was a complete team effort, Taylor Allen, to get this one done.
Joey, just like I predicted, the Winnipeg Sea Bears were going to defy the odds this week, take down Saskatoon at home, take down Vancouver on the road, and go to the CEBL Finals. Word for word, just how I predicted it. You got it.
I'm so excited I forgot to turn off the music here. But 100%, this is what people are going to want from you now. Like, where's negative Cousin Tay? Cousin Tay needs to go in the depths of his hatred and his negativity, and you got to dig it all out here for these finals, and you really got to pump up these Brampton Honey Badgers, because I think you've been the real secret to this run.
Well, it's not being negative, and it's not hatred or anything. I don't hate anyone, really, Joey, but it was just being honest, right? Like, how this is such an incredible story. This is arguably one of the best stories in league history, if you really think about it. I mean, when these playoffs started, there isn't a single person that thought the Sea Bears would be able to make it to the finals. So there was a few that maybe thought that they'd get through Saskatoon. But to then go on the road and go up against this Vancouver team that they've had some struggles against recently, right? And this Vancouver team that, you know, with the smaller Sea Bears lineup, it kind of, lots of people kind of thought like, okay, I don't think they're going to really match up that well against them, especially, you know, losing these big guys, Jeremiah Tillman Jr. and Emmanuel Aycott, not having that size. And yet the Sea Bears walk into that building. Simon Hildebrand plays the best game of his career. Xavier Moon does what he does. I mean, people talk about Mitch Creek, how he's the best player in the league and whatever. Watch that game. Xavier Moon made it crystal clear. There's a reason why he is the GOAT of the CEBL. And sure, maybe he's 31 and had a pretty major injury a year or so ago, but Xavier Moon is still Xavier Moon, and the Sea Bears are off to the finals, man. Crazy.
Man, it's crazy. I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Taylor. Where I channeled my inner Taylor during that game. That first quarter was a bit of a track meet, and what I was really concerned about is they were getting no help when the guards were driving for Vancouver. They were so focused, as they told us before the game, during the week, that they got to lock down on their five and on their bigs and make sure they've got a body that they're not getting to those rebounds. But they were sacrificing a lot of open lanes for Shamar Givens and company early on in the game, because Simon would be just sealed up against Samuel, and not either he was hesitant or he was just told, you are not helping. We need to make sure that we're going for the rebounds. And I thought, man, between Samuel and Zimmerman and even Creek to an extent, I'm like, they might be the difference in this game without even having a popping scores or stat line, right? But they adjusted, and they did not relent. I thought at some point, Taylor, I'm like, I don't know if the Sea Bears can keep this up. Vancouver's going to make an adjustment, or, Vancouver's going to go on a run of their own, and they really didn't. Anytime it seemed like Vancouver had momentum, they just kept them at arm's length, right? Like, it was just, they never let them back in the lead, and if they were in the lead, it wasn't for very long. And when it came down to the fourth quarter, it was just like, I'm thinking, okay, Vancouver looks like, especially Mitch Creek got a foul and he started whining a little bit, right? And I'm like, once that happens, you can feel like that's usually when the wheels are starting to get a little loose, right? And then the shot. Can we call it that? The shot, Xavier Moon?
I think we might have to. I mean, when he makes that shot, I think the Sea Bears are up 7 or so, 4 minutes left, and Xavier Moon gets that 4-point play. And I texted you, Joey. I said, I think that's the biggest shot in Sea Bears history. And I'm hanging my hat on that one. I think it really was. I mean, you're right. I mean, even though the Sea Bears were playing so well and doing all these things, it just kind of felt like inevitable that, the Bandits are going to go on an 8-0 run at one point and kind of take over down the stretch. What a story, though, that the Sea Bears even, made this a game going to the fourth quarter. Good for them, whatever. But, no, it didn't happen. The Sea Bears, it didn't matter what Vancouver threw at them. They threw something back right at them, and even twice as hard, right? So, and we're talking about Xavier Moon and Simon Hildebrand, but it wasn't just those two guys either. I mean, they had, I believe, 7 players hit 3-pointers, and 6 of them had at least 2 3-pointers. They shot 52% from 3-point land in this game, which was massive. And defensively, no, this team isn't going to put any fear into anyone on the defensive side of things, but they made enough plays defensively, right? Like Kyler Filowich, props to him, man. Like he's a guy that's rolled the bench all season long, and he played 10 minutes today. And no, he didn't put up crazy numbers or anything. Didn't
he
score
had like 5 rebounds though, I think.
Yeah, and he was plus 10. The Sea Bears were plus 10 with Kyler Filowich on the floor. So props to him, man.
I wanted to bring that up. I'm glad you brought it up. It was earlier than I expected, but 100%. I thought when Kyler got on there, he set a tone. He was getting those rebounds, and he was just playing sound basketball. We talked about this. He said he wasn't going to use it as motivation, but sometimes you're like, especially in this one, it's like your chance to they're pros. There's sometimes ego gets in the way, and it did not with Kyler Filowich. And you know what? I'm taking that on my tape if I'm Kyler. Like, you know what? This is what I am. I can be foundational. I can be sound. If you give me the time, I will give you the minutes. And, I might not go off for 25, 30 points, but the scoreboard will be in the right direction, right? Like, yeah, or 5 or 2. But long story short is I thought he was kind of put the cherry on top, right? They went with him. They didn't go to Ben Stevens, which I also kind of tip to Mike Rainbow and the staff, right? Like you went to the guys that have been there the whole time, and this is nothing against Ben Stevens, and I'm sure when he's needed, he will be called upon, but it's almost like they felt like, listen, like we got it done with these guys from start to finish. All of these guys have played some impactful role at some point in the season. We're sticking with our guys. Like Ben Stevens will be there when we need him. But, and I don't think Ben Stevens cares. I've met Ben Stevens. We've talked to him. He's a great guy. He's happy to be here. I think he understands his role. I don't think there's too much moping there, if you know what I mean. But no, that's how complete this game was. They are playing their best basketball at the best time. I'm going to quote myself here, Taylor, as I've said throughout the season. The wins or the highs are never as high as they actually feel in the moment, and the lows are never as low, right? It takes one game to turn everything around in one direction. It was not a great stretch down the stretch, right? That 2-4 in the last 6 games is not great. You lose top spot in the West. They could have been playing this game at home, but they have to go to Vancouver. Then they lose everybody, right? 3 starters in a variety of ways. 1 game, Saskatoon. Complete game. Saskatoon's game was picture perfect. And as you said, a lot of people were saying that Saskatoon was by far the favorite, right? And rightfully so to a degree when you lose 3 starters, as you've said. And they said, no, that's not true at all. 3 starters went down, but we've got depth that can fill in those roles against a team like this. And they did very impressively. Then they go and do this against a better Vancouver team that knows this is their last shot. It's a little poetic, if you ask me. But I just want to say real quick, Jen and Carlos, what's up? Jen is a perfect example. If you say hi to me, I'll say hi back. I love chatting basketball. I met Jen and Carlos last game. I'm sure I'll be seeing you at game 2 because game 1 is in Brampton on Wednesday, and games 2 and 3 if necessary, are going to be the Saturday and the Sunday next weekend. The season is not over. I'm putting it out there now, Taylor. Get your tickets. Let's sell this arena out for game 2. Can you imagine a game where there are 15,000 fans in teal, black, and white? Let's do a teal out. We've got the white out for the Sea Bears, right? We can go teal out if you want for the Sea Bears. But I am so excited for the atmosphere on Saturday when they have game 2. The trophy will be awarded in Winnipeg regardless of who wins. The trophy games are here. So I'm putting the call out now. Everyone get your tickets if you haven't already. Tell your friends, tell your family, tell a stranger on the street. Man, let's go to Tourism Winnipeg and just flash it out all over Canada. Let's get people here and fill that arena. I think it's going to be phenomenal, but they are playing some phenomenal basketball right now. What a great 48 hours or whatever, 72 hours it's been of basketball after the 48 hours prior to that. Phenomenal. You cannot say enough about the resilience of this team.
Yeah, the Sea Bears had maybe their worst 72 hours in franchise history, followed up by their best 72 hours in franchise history. So, yeah, it's just been a roller coaster of a week for anyone that supports the Winnipeg Sea Bears. But, Joey, maybe we shouldn't be so surprised that they got the job done today, because you look at these Vancouver Bandits. They're the bridesmaids of the CBL, man. I mean, they're... every year it's like they got so much talent, and it's like, okay, this is going to be the year they get over the hump. You know, last year they lose that game to Calgary, and then this year it's like, okay, there's no way they drop this one, playing at home, and again everything going against Winnipeg and whatever. And once again they come out and have a dud. So for the Vancouver Bandits, I mean, I said the other day that Saskatoon should feel sick to their stomachs for losing in Winnipeg. Well, the Vancouver Bandits and Kyle Julius, the head coach, now I'm not the head coach, now I am the head coach again, they should really be feeling sick to their stomachs. That was not a pretty performance by them by any stretch.
No, and you know what? Like, part of me is, and I talked about this. For those that were there for the pregame show, I know a lot of you guys are back. Chris Wiggins, who was the sideline reporter for this game, joined the show, and he asked me my opinion on like the playing rule for Mitch Creek, essentially, right? Because he didn't play all season. He only played in 3 games before coming here, and I said to him, "You risk breaking any kind of rhythm or chemistry that's built when you're bringing a guy in and sending him out, and right before the finals when you've gritted your way to the playoff to top in the West." They gritted it out. Like, that Vancouver team was no slouch even without Mitch Creek, right? And then same with Kyle Julius. I said this as well. Like, I felt bad for Rans Brempong, who had to clean up the mess, the elite assistant coach him all the way through to the playoffs. It kind of felt like, if you're a football fan in a certain age, it kind of felt like Doug Flutie and Rob Johnson. Rob Johnson starts the last game of the year for Buffalo after Flutie led the Bills into the playoffs for the first time in however long, and then they go to the game like, we're going to start Johnson, and they lose the game in the Music City Miracle. Like, it kind of felt like that. He was like, in the last game, Julius was behind the bench as GM, and then he said, okay, I'm going to do it. And I don't know if Mitch Creek said, I'm only going to play if he's here, or if this was always the plan all along. But it's just, there was so much messing around. And I think what Vancouver might have lost here was the chemistry that was built from within. I think they put too much stock into individuals on this team and how important it was, or how much they elevated it, and didn't trust in the team and the culture that they built, which I do give Kyle Julius credit for. They have a very infectious culture in Vancouver, and I think it almost feels like they didn't trust the process in this, and that it wouldn't work without 2 individuals that weren't there all season, that came in like white knights trying to lead this team to the promised land after they failed so many times before. And this is another loss. They've been to the finals. They've lost in play-ins. They've lost in conference semifinals. They've lost in conference finals. They have not won a championship. They are the new Niagara River Lions before the River Lions were as they know them now. And there will be a new champion this year. Brampton is in the playoffs for the first time since before the Seabears were here. Seabears win their first 2 playoff series ever, and they're going to go head-to-head in the Asper Bowl CEBL championship. This is totally wild, but I think, Vancouver's going to look back at this and say, we punted this, and it wasn't necessarily in this game. Oh, Taylor's frozen, isn't he? Well, shucks. All right, let's try and get Taylor back in here. I'll get him out for now. But this is 100%. Vancouver rolled the dice on this, on Mitch Creek, who is, the reigning MVP. Of course, you want him in your lineup. It's not like you're going to say, no, you can't play here. But, they tried to make it as comfortable as possible for him to be in this. Of course, you want him in here, but, it didn't end up working out. And the Seabears, who didn't have anything, right? Like, nothing working for them on paper. Allen's gone, right? Acott, Tillman, like, it was a recipe for disaster. And this goes back to what we were talking about throughout the season. They never panicked. Oh, here's our boy Tay. Cousin Tay, welcome back. Thanks for messing up my soapbox monologue.
Just need a little break from you. I'm good. I'm good.
But yeah, this, like, what I was saying here, Taylor, is, throughout the year, when they started 4-4, the Seabears, it was never too high, never too low. And I remember Mike Rainbow saying, we're losing these games by 1 possessions. And I said, well, how frustrating is that? And he said, honestly, you can drive yourself nuts. Like, we're doing a lot of things right. We know the big lesson is taking it possession by possession. And I felt there was a lot more urgency in that tonight than ever before. And it's not to say that it was bad before. Like, last game, you had that same urgency. That's why they didn't turn over the ball more than twice, right? So this is a team that built the belief from within. This is the kind of teams Mike Rainbow builds, are teams that overperform. When they're counted out, guys that are overlooked. He's built his Westman program on this. And now it's carried over in a pro way with the Winnipeg Seabears. And here were a bunch of guys. DJ Burns was only playing like 2 to 4 minutes a game before Trey Scott left, right? Isaiah Osborne was 4 for 30 over the last 4 games.
6 games.
6 games. Thank you. Shouldn't have corrected it. It sounded way better in 4 games. Sounded like a bigger overcome. And Jelani Watson-Gale, right? Struggle for him to get involved. Had the big game yesterday. Played well today. Although there are a few times where I'm like, I think for the finals, I want to see Jelani Watson-Gale a little more aggressive. But overall, I mean, that's nitpicking. It was a great team effort.
Well, win or lose, I mean, this Seabears team with this current lineup, relying heavily on all these guards, obviously, they're fun to watch, man. And of course, DJ Burns, I mean, there's probably no one more fun than that guy, just how animated he is and how much energy he plays with. But I mean, Trey McGowan's, I mean, that guy, he kind of gets overlooked a little bit, but that guy is such a freak of an athlete. That dunk that he had in the first quarter, my goodness. And then in the fourth quarter, when DJ Burns is getting patched up, Trey McGowan's comes to the game and kind of puts a guy on a poster a little bit as well. And I was like, oh, okay, after that play is like, yeah, the Seabears, there's no way they're letting this one slip. So from Trey McGowan's, Xavier Moon, even Mason Krause coming off the bench, like these guys, Jelani Watson-Gale, no, he didn't have 27 points like he did the last game, but he had some tough hoops, man. He made some really tough shots. I think he had a 4-point play in this game as well, which he also had on Thursday against Saskatoon. So, yeah, I mean, there's just like, it's almost feels like if you're playing against the Seabears, you're kind of suffering from death by 1,000 cuts because they just hit you from so many different ways and angles, and all these guys can shoot. Even DJ Burns hit a 3-pointer tonight, or this afternoon. So, yeah, this Seabears team, they're undersized. Again, we keep saying this. They are undersized, and they definitely got beat up in the paint a little bit, 42-26. But when you shoot the way that they did, and they move the ball around like they did, and they were as effective as they were in transition as they were, this is what can happen.
Yeah, Chris Wiggins wanted to join in, but he has to get to the BC Lions game. Chiming in on the comments. Chris did a phenomenal job on the sidelines throughout the playoffs on national TV, on TSN and CBC. Great job, Chris. Love you, man. He says, Winnipeg earned it. What a story for that team. Now we get our guy Jimmy leading us on the sidelines. Appreciate you. Yeah, we've been sharing the sideline duties, and now I have to take the baton and try to look good next to Chris Wiggins. That's going to be tough. Thanks for making it tough on me, Chris. Appreciate it. But hey, man, that's not what this is about. This is about the Winnipeg Seabears going to the finals for the first time. Again, they never won a playoff game, ever. This is like the first true first for the Seabears after like actually winning a game, but they've been in conference finals before because they were in the conference final last year because of a bye, right? So it's not like you could say, and I almost caught myself saying it a couple times where I wanted to say in their first conference final, but it's technically their second. But this is
earned conference final.
First earned conference finals, and no matter how you paint it, it is their first CEBL finals. They have never been there. This is new territory. Brampton has never been there as the Brampton Honey Badgers. They won it in 2023 or 22 as the Hamilton Honey Badgers before they moved to Brampton. So these are two teams, new ownerships. Two teams in a lot of ways. I know we always talk about the Brampton.
Whoa. You can't just say new ownerships. This is the Asper Bowl, man. You got an Asper owner, both team here. This is the next Asper family dinner is going to be pretty interesting, I'd imagine.
Right? Imagine who's bringing that trophy to the next dinner. That's going to be something. But 100%, the Aspers, to their credit, have built very good programs. Brampton had a rough go through the second half of the season. We talk about resilience. Well, Brampton had some resilience and some lucky breaks, but hey, they were shorthanded too, right? To beat Ottawa, and Ottawa was a really good team. Like, they've earned their way here as well. Brampton's no slouch. Brampton beat Winnipeg in Winnipeg. So, of all the teams to win, they were, or one of the few teams to win, they were one of them. And I think the only team in the East, if I'm not mistaken, to win in Winnipeg this year. So it's going to be cut out for them. But these are two teams that have been pushing the envelope from an organizational standpoint, a league standpoint, and it's really cool to see this rewarded. And I think it's this is also huge because you've got one of you have the best market, I think, in terms of viewership and gates, like people, or what am I trying to say here? Fans at the game. And, Brampton's still trying to slug away and trying to figure it out. Well, this is a big step in that direction when you're in the finals against, the playing in the mecca of the CEBL, that is Winnipeg.
Well, to say that Brampton is still trying to figure it out is being pretty nice there, Joey, because that was, let's call it out, as that was a pretty pathetic turn out at their game this afternoon. And I know it's a Saturday and it's an afternoon game, not
Yeah.
the maybe the most ideal time.
But that I don't blame
and
that on the
whatever.
organization. That like
No, it's not the
Brampton has
organization's
lost.
fault
That's
at
what I
all.
mean. Like they put everything into this. Like Brampton has lost hockey teams, right? Of every level, major, junior. They've lost pro hocky teams.
It's the GTA, man.
And they are
There's a lot
trying.
going on. There's a lot of noise in that sports market, so it's pretty hard to break through it and whatnot. So yeah, I was just disappointed. I'm not trying to be a Rudy Poo, but I'm saying that was a disappointing turnout for Eastern Championship game. But hopefully for game one, Brampton they could pack that place. That would be awesome. But we talked a little bit about Simon off the hop, but the Bandits are our Maple Leafs.
Nice.
I
like that.
Yeah,
that's
there
funny.
you go.
Also,
except the Leafs don't make it that far. The Leafs just lose in the first round. But
shout out to Cam if this becomes the tagline, though. I really like this. The Teal Party. I think that needs to be the hashtag here going into the finals. Teal Party, everybody in teal, and bringing the party to Canada Life Center. Go ahead, Taylor. Sorry.
I was just gonna say we touched on Simon a little bit, but I think we need
we got to get into Simon
to talk about Simon.
100%.
He's starting now. No Emmanuel Acott, like Simon Hildebrand's like you are our most important Canadian big that we've got. Most important big that we've got, honestly. And Joey, he's only 24. He's fresh out of college, back in the CBL, but he looked like a grown ass man out there. Some of those baskets, the one that he had towards the end where he hits a spin move, misses the first shot, grabs a board in traffic and finishes around the rim, is like, yeah, that's the type of hustle and physicality that you want to see from Simon. And he has to be doing that right now. So offensively, he was massive. So it's like Simon was kind of handling things on the offensive side of things for the big guys, and then Kyler was kind of doing it on the defensive side of things. So the two Winnipeg guys, very different players, very different skill sets. They were both delivering in their own personal way.
Yeah, and honestly, you said it best. He played like a man today. Like that was Justin Timberlake going in sync to solo. That was Justin Bieber getting a haircut and turning into a male solo artist. He had his breakout game where he is not a kid anymore. Like he is not a college guy. He's not the good story. He is a guy,
not the little U Sports guy anymore.
Not the little U Sports guy anymore. He is now an official professional player, and as the announcer said, for some reason, going to Germany and not making a ton of money. That was the weirdest thing. But regardless, this was Simon's statement game. He's had a lot of statements throughout his career. Nothing caps this game here and what he was able to do in this one. One second, I just want to make sure I can hide this because look at that stat line: 24 points. He was 9 for 14 from the field, and he was 60% from three. And they were massive shots. Like all of the shots, even earlier in the game, meant something for the Sea Bears that led to this final product or this ending. I cannot say enough about Simon Hildebrand's game. Xavier Moon was the player of the game. It very easily could have been Simon Hildebrand too, because Simon Hildebrand stretched that floor. They didn't know how to guard him because they're so worried about Xavier Moon, right? And when he's down low, they know they have a bit of advantage, but they didn't answer him. Like he kept them honest, and they just kept giving him the three. They were thinking we would rather live with that and go for the rebound as opposed to put someone else to close out on Simon. He had a few open shots where the closeout didn't seem too urgent for Vancouver. And again, the moment was as big as he's played in. It has. I don't think he's played a bigger game in college, like outside of the.
Yeah, he played March Madness.
March Madness
at High Point.
But he came off an injury there, and he wasn't the star, and he was playing with people his age. He was an older guy on the floor. This is one where he's 24, playing with professionals. I think this is the biggest game he's ever had, including that March Madness game, because he did not have 24 points in that game and, game-changing shots. So, in terms of a personal performance, I'd be hard-pressed to say this isn't his best one yet. Shout-out Schnitzy from our friends over at Bonfire. Great coverage, gents. My 5-year-old is becoming a huge Sea Bears fan. Love to hear it, Schnitzy. We love to have your 5-year-old on the show. We're going to watch our language today, even though it's exciting, but we don't have Cannonball Chris here, so we should be in good shape. And Denung Balsera from Brampton, because as we mentioned, Brampton beat Niagara earlier in the day. We were trying to have a super post-game show, but Denung is at a wedding, and his wife, I don't think, is too impressed that he was trying to go live. He still might show up. We don't know. People might show up. They might not. Chris can't make it, unfortunately. Bonomi might be dead. We don't know. Bonomi lives and dies by Brampton basketball, and it was a big day for Matt Bonomi. So we're just hoping that he shows up for his show later this week, if not today. So, this has been that's going back to Simon. Even fighting for the boards, Simon and company. I thought the team did a phenomenal job going out. There was no ball watching today, not at all. They were tipping even balls they couldn't get to. They were disrupting the rebounders on Vancouver, poking balls out to areas where their teammates can get to.
The game-winning basket. What happened? Trey McGowan's with the volleyball spike to Isaiah Osborne for the wide-open three to seal the deal.
Which is poetic because that's what they were playing all day. Right? They were doing. Mason Krause had like 2 or 3 of those as well. Trey had a few. They were just finding their way to the ball and putting it in a position that gave supporting teammates to get those loose balls. And I thought from a rebounding standpoint, they were phenomenal as well.
So Joey, this is monumental to kind of put this into perspective for people.
We're loaded. If we don't count Trenton Flowers' hair, are we undersized versus Brampton? I think this is a very even matchup. Like they have Keon Ambrose Hilton, who's good. They have Matthew.
Hold on. Before we get into that, though, I just want to say, just to kind of put this into perspective a little bit, like a trip down memory lane. Winnipeg, we've had pro basketball here before. We had the Winnipeg Thunder. We had the Winnipeg Cyclone. Neither one. There you go. Perfect. Neither one of those teams ever really. I don't think either one of them ever made the finals. I don't think either one of them really had much success. And I mean, granted, both of them kind of played in leagues that didn't really fare very well and didn't last very long. But either way, those teams, neither one of them made it to a final and had the success that we're seeing now with the Sea Bears. So for the city, for the local basketball community, this is cool, man. This is cool to be able to, be rallying behind this team, having some Winnipeggers on the team and, getting them to a platform where this city has never had a team before.
We believe teal t-shirts for the Asper Bowl teal party. I love it. But no, you're 100% right. This is a monumental moment in Winnipeg basketball, period. Right. And I'm not saying it's the greatest moment, but it is, I know Basketball Manitoba is working its top 50 moments in the last 50 years. I'm not sure this will cut it, but when we start talking about the grand scheme of Basketball Manitoba and impactful moments in this city, in this province, this team is going to be that. And the other thing too, Taylor, is I do feel the way they played was that Winnipeg style that they love to see their athletes play. It was hard. It was gritty. They didn't give up. When the adversity was against them, they pushed back, and they had a lot of adversity. You lose your top scorer, your elite big man, who was your only real big man on the team, and Emmanuel Laycott, who's also a local and a Swiss Army knife on the floor. And this is how you did it. Like, I think this is just a reflection of what Winnipeggers want in their sports, what Manitobans want in their sports. And again, there's a lot of local flavor there, but there are also a lot of dudes who never could have pointed Winnipeg out on a map before they got here that have fallen in love with this city and are putting it out there. And I felt like today it was fitting they were wearing their whites on the road because it said Winnipeg, and I think that's who they were playing for. I think they do take that seriously.
Well, DJ Burns is probably a guy that a month ago, not that many Winnipeg sports fans really knew or whatever. But now he's like, if you watch this guy play, he's like, that is the definition of like someone that people of Winnipeg absolutely love to watch and rally behind. And I mean, and I spoke to him the other day after the Saskatoon game, and he said, the first thing he said to me is like, we're doing this for Winnipeg. Everything we do is for Winnipeg. And it's like, man, like this guy's been here for what, 2-3 months, like you said, couldn't point out the city on a map right before he got here. And now he's like really proud to be wearing Winnipeg on his chest and hustling the way he is for the city and stuff. So yeah, it's just kind of cool to see these guys buy into the city and, embrace it and like take pride in the fact that they're playing in front of, the best fans in the league, and they got this love and support behind them. So yeah, man, I'm excited to see what game 2 and potentially game 3 at the Canada Life Center will look like. Obviously, championship weekend was a cool vibe last year, but this should top that. I mean, they don't have. Sorry, I can't speak. They don't have as much time to market it and whatever. But I'm sure the word's gonna get out this week.
Yeah, and that's the other thing. They have the fortune which is like the other benefit of finishing top seed. Not only do you get those 2 games, it gives you more time to plan for this, right? I imagine the Sea Bears are going to have some fun stuff, whether it's towels or T-shirts or whatever. Like, I think they're going to go above and beyond for this particular event, and they have time to get it planned, and they have time to sell those tickets. All fans can do is buy those tickets and bring that passion. I think it's going to be great. I wanted to bring this one up. Where is it? Stat guy Ty. Xavier Moon, 6-0 in the playoffs in the target time era. He remains undefeated. And I think this, at least in his Sea Bears, tenure of the 2 games, this is by far the hardest one that I think this is probably the only one where the cards were severely stacked against him for back-to-back games, but particularly this one. So, that one is cool too. And Xavier Moon, he had 24 points in less than 22 minutes before going into target time. Talk about efficiency. Right. And the guys picked him up. And I think that was my first question was, man, Teddy was supposed to be that guy, right? As he was supposed to be that guy for Teddy. Like, they were supposed to be the yin and the yang. And at that point, I'm like, I don't know who it's going to be. And there wasn't one guy that took it over. That was the craziest part. It's like they were just letting the ball find the spots for them and following the rhythm of the play, following the flow. And I think for him, he has to feel good, because it can't feel good in the first half having 3 fouls, having to sit out most of that game. And then, knowing that there's a lot of pressure on you to hit, 20 to 30 points. And he got there. He did. But that's got to be a helpless feeling. That has to be the equivalent of waiting in the penalty box, in a crunch time where your team is holding on to a narrow lead with time winding down on the third, but for a much longer stretch of time where anything could happen.
Well, that just goes to show how important it is to have this guard depth that the Sea Bears have. Because you're right, when Xavier Moon started getting into foul trouble, it was like, oh no, this is probably going to be their demise. And then DJ Burns got into foul trouble as well, which didn't help their cause either. But I mean, this is far and away the best set of guards this team has ever had in franchise history. In year one, I'm sorry, if a star guard goes down, I don't think Glenn Yang and AJ Hess are gonna, say, don't worry, we'll take it from here. But like, that was able to happen today, right? Like, Trey McGowan's, like, he made some massive plays, and again, Jelani, he didn't have as many points as last time, but he contributed in big ways as well. So, and Mason Krause, when he's out there, even if he's not shooting the ball much, like, he finds ways to benefit the team and do things that don't always show up in the stat sheet. So yeah, they're absolutely loaded at guard. So no, you never want Xavier Moon, arguably the best player in the league, to ever get into foul trouble. But it's like, but it's like you can kind of ride a wave a little bit without him if you absolutely have to.
Yeah. 1 second here. I'm just going to bring this up because I don't want to forget this. 4 players scored in target time, including Osborne's single season franchise record 5th, to move into a 4-way tie for the overall franchise record with Jalen Harris, Watson Gale, and Teddy Allen. How fitting was it that Isaiah Osborne closed it? The guy who came in here, as the target time guy. He's had some struggles, but even in games that he struggled, right? Remember that game he had 2 points, and the only 2 points were the target score winner. This was just fitting. Everybody legitimately played their role today, I think, exactly how they had to. And Isaiah Osborne's another guy who you got to be feeling good about. Again, wasn't as impactful as he was, at least offensively, last game, this game, but he hit some big shots, and defensively, man, he allowed some of those guards to get in and make some great plays, like the steals that were coming out of that. Just a phenomenal game from him too. I want to bring up the stat sheet. Go ahead, Taylor.
Hold on. I was going to say, I think someone in the courtside in Vancouver must have been giving it to Isaiah, because it felt like every time he hit a big 3, he would turn around, he'd kind of say something to someone in the crowd. And even I saw Mason Krause do that once as well. So I think someone was getting on Isaiah. So and I don't know, maybe him playing mad is the secret sauce for him to be balling out like the way he is. But hey, it's kind of funny. They call him, his nickname on the team is the Silent Assassin. But tonight, again, going off on or not going off, but kind of giving it back to some fans. Obviously he's not that silent if he doesn't have to be.
Oh no, he was. And that's the thing, I feel like he does talk in the playoffs to fans, because he did that here too, and he hit that game winner against Winnipeg when he was with Edmonton. He was letting them know too. So I think he just saves his talking for the exact right time, which is when the game is over. But no, he was phenomenal. He had 13 points today. But the efficiency, 62%. Where was he from three? 60% from three-point land. Fighting for those rebounds, a couple of rebounds. And again, it was a team effort. They don't always pop up as actual stats. But, the way they were going in there bumping bodies, it allowed for these loose balls to get picked up by their own teammates and allows Xavier Moon in the second half to slow things down. And I thought he was just phenomenal at managing that game. Right? Like there were times where it looked like, sometimes there were plays that would be forced in, like, passes that are forced inside or, forcing a transition because it's there. Because there were a couple in that fourth quarter, but he understood the time was more valuable, right? It was like, let's take it up, get a proper shot, kill some time while we're at it, and not allow, Vancouver to get a big steal and a momentum changing transition, a bucket of their own, right? I thought, that's the thing too. Like we see the stats, we see the shooting, but my goodness, like his ability to read what is being given and also dictate is something we've never seen this. And I just want to bring this back around because you were saying Glenn Yang and AJ Hess. For the day ones out there that been with us for 4 years, I'm glad you're here for this one because, hey, you've been around for the long ride. But this is a full circle moment for Tay that he gets to bring Glenn Yang and AJ Hess back into the conversation as the Sea Bears go to the finals. I absolutely love it.
You could be doing this pod for 20 years, Joey, and I'll still find a way to work those two names in every few episodes, And I think I've done it a few times this season, but that one felt good. The playoff plug for.
I got a T-shirt idea. We got to get you yelling, and the quote is just going to be "Give her Hess." Give her Hess. I like it.
That.
We're going to get that one done, man.
Yeah, you know what though? It's just
day one. He's got it.
There you go. I love it. But Xavier, I think one part of his game that kind of gets overlooked, or one part of him, is his freak athleticism. I mean, he is so fast and he can jump out of the gym. Like I think I forgot who he blocked. He blocked one 3-point shot in the corner as well. It's like this guy's an NBA player. Honestly, like you watch him, like he is just head and shoulders above most guys in this league. And when he's turning it on, it's like, okay, like this guy is different, man. Like he is. You don't have to be a basketball savant or diehard or expert to be able to tell the difference. Like when you watch Xavier Moon play and how he carries himself, and again, just his athleticism and how he shoots the rock and these tough shots that he's taken, and yet he's still making them. Like he's built different, man. He's a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah, just zooming in on this, we got a better look. 6 guys in double figures. And only one guy that played, we mentioned him, Kyler Filowich, that didn't get any points, but he played a phenomenal game in his role. Where is he? 5 rebounds and an assist. That's
plus 10.
Plus 10. That's massive for Kyler Filowich. And Mason Krause, 3 offensive rebounds for Mason Krause. Only 3 points, 3 offensive boards, an assist to go with that. And he wasn't credited one, but I'm pretty sure he had a steal in there too. But again, it was just a full effort. When you have essentially a 9-guy rotation, and 6 of those guys are all in double figures, that's a good night. And as you mentioned, when DJ Burns is hitting a 3, that also helps. I'm going to bring up here before I'm going to put it back up so everybody can see. Let's go over Vancouver stats, shall we? Vancouver. Shamar Givens and Mitch Creek delivered the performance we expected, as did Tevin Brown. 21 points for Givens, 19 for Creek. 1 second. 19 for Brown, 13 for Pandy, who's quieted right down in the second half. The big one for me, Jarkel Joyner didn't do anything. He was coming off an injury. But they got the scoring that they expect from these guys, and they were not able to turn this into a win. Taylor Allen, take her away.
Well, no, I was just going to say for Mitch Creek, like he played 36 minutes. He played more than anyone. And there was obviously some very tough baskets he made. And he kind of did turn it on a bit down the stretch. But like, honestly, Joey, there were stretches where it's like,
he was a ghost.
Exactly. It's like, oh yeah, that guy's a former MVP in this league. Like,
my wife asked, how many points does he have? And I'm like 19. And it was like, my voice like 19? Like it was a very quiet 19.
It was big time. So yeah, I mean, he made some shots at the end and stuff, but like the door was kind of open for him or someone on that Vancouver team to kind of make some noise at the end and drag the Bandits back into it, but he wasn't able to do that. So no, I'd say that was a very disappointing performance from Mitch Creek for sure.
Yeah, and they still gave you the points. Like that's why they're good, right? Like they got the points that they want on you. XO204 says don't look at the turnovers from TJ Burns. Yeah, he had 6. He had
Yeah,
2 steals, so
he
it
had that
evens up
bad
like 4.
travel at the top of the 3-point line, and yeah, he's been reckless with the ball a little bit, but he made up for it in some other ways.
Yeah, he's still. Hey, look, he had 4 assists and 2 steals, so that wipes out the turnovers. That's 6
There you go.
possessions
He
and,
broke even.
4 scores. So yeah, yeah. Exo, come on, man. Let's give DJ a break here, man. We're trying to be celebrating here. Exo, come on. I know you're a celebrator, a celebration type guy. Um, yeah, I want to bring this up too. Season ticket holders, I didn't know this. Don't forget, you have a portal link to discounted tickets for your friends to join. Smash that after you smash the like button. I always wanted to say it. Smash the like button, as YouTubers say. Or is it TikTokers? I don't know. Like it. Subscribe to it. Put the notifications on. We're going to have programming throughout the week from here and in Brampton. Who knows? If we can make it work out, be awesome. If we can get there in person in some way in Brampton for game 1. If not, we will be doing it from here. But let's brainstorm some ways to get Target Score Winnipeg into enemy territory and see if we can make this work. Any sponsors out there that own an airline or a bus company or a taxi service that wants to bring us out there, I'm game for anything. But yeah, no, I'd love to. It's going to be a jam-packed week for sure. Here, we'll just go through a few more. Beautiful box score, says XO204. Really is, like, outside of, as you mentioned, DJ Burns, it's doesn't get any better than this. The only guy who doesn't get breaks is producer Jimmy. Look at Stat Guy Tide giving me some love for once. This is phenomenal. Good for Stat Guy. See, even Stat Guy Ties being nice to Jimmy, and we don't get a lot of nice Jimmy comments from Stat Guy Tie. They're very selective. So thanks, Stat Guy Tie. Appreciate you, my guy. Yeah. So I like this one. Hey, your someone's got to pee. Yeah. He's like, I don't love you. Yeah, you do. You love me. That's fine. But dude, we can go on all night. Let's talk a little bit. Someone brought up the size advantage. Is there one for Brampton? We don't see a lot of Brampton, so it's a very valid question.
Nobody sees a lot of Brampton.
Yeah, not even Brampton sees a lot of Brampton. Yeah. So don't feel out of place with that question. That's for sure. This is a pretty even matchup. Sean East and Trenton Flowers are the real deal. Cam Flowers or Cam Tyson is an elite shooter. Matthew Moncrief and Keon Ambrose Hilton has stepped up his game a lot since last year when he was in Edmonton. And Moncrief could be a menace when it comes to rim protection. It doesn't get easier, that's for sure. I think there was more tape as well on Vancouver. You kind of know what to expect. You played them not that long ago. I know they didn't play Brampton that long ago either, but it's hard to pick an advantage here. The CBC panel, I know it was on TSN and CBC. CBC panel, Tamika Nurse said it's Winnipeg. Like, that's who she's got pegged for this one. I'm hard pressed to pick one right now. It's too fresh. Both of them are coming off massive wins. Big for the franchise. Again, as we mentioned, Brampton has never made the playoffs as Brampton, so this is their first crack at their second championship under their new city. And Winnipeg, don't have to explain that to you. So I honestly think, regardless of the matchups, if they can replicate what they did in Vancouver and Saskatoon, it doesn't matter. They can have a big lineup, a small lineup. Winnipeg seems to have answers regardless of how they want to play them.
So the Sea Bears are 2-0 in this playoff run when I pick against them. So now they're in the finals here. Should I give them the kiss of death and pick them to win? I don't feel good about doing that to all our friends here. But
tell you what, Tay, don't do it yet. We've got a show coming up this week. You gotta let the emotions subside. You got to give it deep thought.
Good call.
And you can come back next week with your true, well thought prediction, so we don't put you on the spot and say something that you don't want to say. Something that you can say, with full confidence, whether it goes right or wrong. You could say, you know what, this was reasonable. This was objective. I looked at the stats, I looked at the data, and I came to my conclusion, and I'm willing to live and die by that. So don't feel pressured, but it's going to be tough. That I do know. What's this? They're jumping in quick before I get back to making sure everyone gets their tickets, but that's LFG. Yeah, Hayden's got a hand in making sure everybody gets those tickets. So yeah, a big one. get those tickets.
That's the real 2-0. That was the real difference. Never mind me picking against them. It's the vibes that Ben Stevens is providing. The pride of Halifax. Love it.
That's good. I think that is the key stat. Undefeated since Ben Stevens was acquired by the Winnipeg Sea Bears. Yeah.
I thought he was going to play today. I was actually shocked.
I thought so too. It was a true team effort in this one. Even Ben Stevens, without actually being on the floor, is contributing in ways that are, intangible. Get to a few more here. Super pregame, and we'll do something this week for sure with everybody. I do not believe that D or Matt Bonomi are on the broadcast, so they should have time. That'll be the Winnipeg game will be a tough one for me because it depends on the scheduling. But we will. Hey, you might have to take the wheel on that one. We'll figure it out. But we're gonna have you covered either way. Exo says, I hope there's some kind of watch party for Wednesday. Keep your ears up because the Sea Bears did do a watch party at Finn McCool's was it the second season? I think it was a road playoff game. I think Stat Guy Ty would remember. He's an encyclopedia. But there was a game that ended the season
in
at
Edmonton,
Finn McCool's.
Wasn't it?
I think you're right. It might have been in Edmonton.
Or might have been in Calgary. It was in Alberta.
I think it was Edmonton.
It was in the province of Alberta. I know that.
No, road game at Calgary. No, you're right. So you had it. It was Calgary. Keep an eye out for watch parties. Let's have watch party up here. Where is best to go Wednesday? You know what? Let's see if the Target Score boys can help out a little bit with that. Maybe we can.
That'd be fun.
Stay tuned at Target Score Pod on Instagram. That's mainly where we do all our communication. At Joey Slattery TV and at Taylor Allen 31. Joey Slattery TV. Here, I'll remove the comments so you can see how you spell my name. Joey Slattery TV on podcast or on Instagram. Taylor Allen 31, like Reggie Miller. Taylor Allen 31 on Instagram and at Target Score Pod on Instagram as well. And we will keep you posted. See if we can get something going for some sort of watch party and have a good time with that. There's one at Trans Canada Brewery apparently too. This is awesome. Let's support a local establishment. Let's do that. Let's find a place near the arena and we will figure out something that we can do as Target Score community. If you guys want to get together as Target Scorers, we'll get to the game. We'll all watch it together and live the highs and lows of Game 1 together and get excited for that Game 3 that's going to be on the Saturday or Game 2 rather on the Saturday, the Game 3 on the Sunday. Taylor,
I got your address, Joey, so I'll share that with everyone. So we'll all go to your.
It's going to be a little cramped. Maybe a little cramped.
You can feed us all and provide drinks for all of us too. Yeah, so that'll be the plan. Yeah, we'll do that.
It says people just know me as the flex guy on the Jumbotron. I like that. Okay, now I can put a face to the name. XO204 is the flex guy on the Jumbotron. I hope we can come together. Yeah, let's make it happen. Just stay posted. Make sure that you are on social media, that you're tied in here as well. Have the notifications on because I can't promise you there'll be a lot of promo for each episode. Like they might pop up as we're going along here. It's going to be a busy content weekend for Brampton and for Winnipeg, both of our markets in the finals. Kind of cool, actually, the way it worked out, even timing schedule, Taylor. The final 3 teams standing were the Target Score teams.
Yeah, forget about the Asper Bowl. This is the Target Score.
Target Score.
Forget about the Aspers. This is all about Target Score.
Yes, I love it. The Target Score Bowl.
We might have invested a bit more into this than we have, but we invested time and energy. That counts for a lot these days.
Yeah.
That counts for a lot.
If you ask our partners, they will tell you a lot of time we've dedicated to this. So yes, we are invested less on the financial, more on the time side, but both are important. All right, so. I don't know because the game's on Wednesday. So Tay, you and I might have a quick turnaround. Might have a show Monday or Tuesday. Keep those notifications on. Have your notifications on Instagram. Then we'll have our game day live on Wednesday. Hopefully a watch party. Let's see if we can figure something out here in the next few days to get a Target Score watch party going. And let's bring everybody together, man. It'd be a lot of fun. I'd rather be if I can't be in Brampton. I want to be at a watch party, but regardless, we will figure something out. Either you're getting content from Brampton or you're getting content from a local establishment. Yeah. So
there we go.
all right.
Love it.
On behalf of Taylor, myself, thanks everybody, man. The comments were lit. Thanks for everybody that tuned in. We're not done. Sea Bears advanced to the finals for the very first time in franchise history with a chance to win the CEBL trophy on home court, because it doesn't matter who wins, it will be awarded on home court. So Sea Bears fans, get ready. We've got a busy week ahead, and we are going to have a great time this week. Taylor, thank you. I appreciate you, buddy. We'll talk to you soon. Everybody else, go out, enjoy this win. It's Saturday night. That's the benefit of afternoon basketball. You've got Saturday night to go and party. Have a good one.